All right, so you might be wondering, what in the heck is this kid going to teach me about being a fishing guide? How could he ever know anything? Well, believe it or not, I'm actually going into my 4th season of being a fishing guide here up in Michigan. And I just want to go over real quick, like the actual like A to Z story without it being like an hour-long video or something. Just real quick, like how did this all actually happen? So we're going to go through it real quick here. It all started, obviously, when I was a lot younger, as you can imagine, and got into fishing. And there's like 4 main steps to fishing. You have like the new angler, which was what I became, and then that's when you're holding rods, upside down, you don't know how to do it, yada, yada, yada. And then the next step up is the skilled angler, where you start to actually take fishing a lot more seriously. You start educating yourself about fishing, and you just kind of take things to the next level. So that's the next step, which I'd say I became like a skilled angler when I was probably like 14 or so. And it was just, watching YouTube videos, doing stuff like that, just growing my knowledge base. And then the next step after that is what I would consider like a pro angler, I guess you could call it. And the way that I define a pro angler, I don't mean you have to be like Kevin Van Dam or Bill Dance or something like that. I'm just saying, like, basically the best way to explain it would probably be that you start to try to make money from fishing. So like whether you get into tournaments big time and you start traveling all around for tournaments, whether you start a charter business, whatever it is, you kind of take it to that next level. And then that happened for me when I was 18. So when I was 18, I started my fishing charter business. And then I did, so 18, 19, 20, that's kind of like the whole time when I was just building up the business. And then I'd say like once I got to be about like 21, things started to kind of shift into like what I call like that 4th tier of like fishing. And it's when you start to go into like more per se like teaching mode, I guess. And it's where you start to be a little bit more like, okay, like I've already gotten pretty good at the skill of actual fishing, and I've gotten good at the skill of monetizing that hobby, whether it be from tournaments or charters and stuff like that. And then you kind of get to be a bit more of a teacher, where you're like, okay, like I just care more about like the impact that I'm having on people. And I don't want it to seem like I'm some like big influence or something, because that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying more like out on a charter, I start to realize a little bit more like, oh, it's not just about the money. Like I actually want this kid to get into fishing, and like you just view it through like a teacher lens a little bit more. It's hard to explain unless you've actually been there with something in your own life. It doesn't just have to be in fishing, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, those are kind of the 4 like phases or seasons or steps, I guess. And that's how I ended up becoming a fishing guide and doing what I've done at, I guess, what someone can consider a relatively young age. And the reason that it happened is because I was just able to get through the 4 seasons quicker. I didn't like shortcut anything. It's just some people take longer to get through each season. And that's fine. There's not really like a time limit on it, I don't think. So yeah, but once you understand that, then it kind of is like, you'll see most people and most things tend to kind of follow those 4 steps.